We have Courtney Bandeko. That was you, Courtney. I think I pronounced your name correctly this time, too. Leo Howard, Nick Fink, Elijah Moore, and Luke Mitchell. Elijah B. Moore. Don't want to undersell it.
Hello, guys.
Howdy.
Hello. Hello. Very lively. I like it.
It's a gorgeous day today. Jeez.
Oh,
I know, it's so much better than yesterday.
Or just
It's the gorgeous crowd that makes it a gorgeous day.
Or is it just Luke Mitchell sitting next to us?
I'm really just talking about your face.
Stop it.
It's hot out there. It feels like it's shooting football scene weather.
Can I shout out your outfit?
Yeah,
I'm in my Daisy
Doesn't she
Jones
look
here.
fabulous?
Watches one episode of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I did a whole cowboy show. The whole cowboys and aliens thing. All right.
Shout out.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a few questions, and then I'm gonna have you guys line up at these two mics if you want to ask questions, and then I'll ask a few more questions, and then we'll get to your questions. So, got them. Get ready. Okay. Who should I ask questions of first? I'm gonna ask my dumbest question first. Luke Mitchell.
I'll take it.
I feel okay about this because I feel like women get asked about clothes all the time, but I want to know about the Thor ensemble. Was that like, what was your reaction in the fitting? Was that the most annoying thing to shoot in, or did you just feel really cool?
Okay, so
Did you take it home?
I have many things to say about this. Firstly, my reaction was, oh my god, this is amazing. No pun intended with the oh my god. No, it was really cool. Like I felt like a kid just playing dress-ups, and it's like I think it was the most extensive wardrobe fitting I've ever done in my life. I went back and back and back and back, and I had to do. I don't know if you guys have done the. Just put my coffee down. The life casting where you have to have all the goop on you, so they.
Kind of my worst nightmare.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I see people like Instagramming it, and I'm like, I would freak out.
Did you have to do full body?
What was that?
You have to do full body?
Half body.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they told me about it. I was like, that sounds cool. That sounds fun. Not so fun.
Yeah.
So you have to sit like dead still on a stool for like 45 minutes, like an hour. And they pour this goop on you, and all you have to have your eyes closed and your mouth closed, and they just like make sure you can breathe. But then you're just sitting there for 45 minutes, waiting for this goop to dry. And it's like a chemical reaction, so you can feel it like heating up and like hardening, and yeah, it's completely anxiety inducing.
That must be a very long 45 minutes.
Yeah, longest 45 minutes of my life actually. But I survived it, and then they had a very lifelike cast of my upper body and head.
Did you take that home? It's just on his mantle.
And that will be up for auction later.
Yeah, and then they used that to fit the armor because that was, an even more extensive process. But yeah, then getting to wear it on set was very complicated because there's so many different pieces, and yeah, it was a little clunky.
Wait, why did they have to cast your face? That seems like maybe they were just fucking with you.
Now that you say that, maybe they were. Yeah, I don't know.
Nick, I want to ask you about shooting in the Malibor Void. What was that? Where were you guys? Were you green screening?
No. Well, we were like dark screening. It was like it was in one of the studios. They like completely blacked out the floor, and then they had like. It was a really large area. Like, not quite as big as this, but they had like 20-foot, 30-foot black curtains like surrounding the entire thing. And yeah, it was, you spend a day in there, you lost all sense of time and sanity or something, but yeah.
I was gonna say, like, do you just start to feel like, do I have all my senses?
Yeah, no, you just completely lose track of everything. But yeah, it was really fun shooting in there. And yeah, there was like weird monsters in there, and I remember I had to shoot like I had some big monologue I had to give to like yelling up, like speaking to my father in the void somewhere, and I'm like, that was like probably my most intense villain moment where I'm like, I will find hope and I will kill her father. And like as there's just like 28 guys, crew members just like watching me, like I don't know, I'm like, this is uncomfortable a bit, but
It was also like a pretty like emotional scene. Like it was a lot.
Yeah, no, I do like that moment a lot, but yeah, the circumstances are just so strange behind the scenes. You're just like, I mean, I don't know, some of those guys were maybe moved, probably not, I don't know. Yeah.
Elijah, I feel like, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but like Wade was, I feel like, such a like lovely surprise. Like he had a little line here and there, and then he quite literally blossomed. I'm curious about your reaction to the fairy reveal, like on the page, because it's a statement. It might be a metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, we would call it my coming out episode. And you know, when you're coming out as a fairy, I feel like there's a lot of connotations to that. But no, it was, I mean, I
Like what?
I get it. I get it.
I'll tell you later. Yeah, no, I mean, as my reaction when I read it was kind of like how the characters in the episode took it when I said, I'm not a witch, I'm a fairy, and I read it and I was like, no.
I think it might have been the first fairy in all the universe, the whole TV.
Oh yeah, no, and as far as, since the show has ended, as far as we know, I'm the only fairy.
What a lonely fairy life.
Yeah. So, if you're wondering where Wade's at now, he's alone, still.
I'll have you guys start lining up just so it doesn't take forever while we're still talking up here. So if you guys have questions, come on and line up in the middle rows here while I keep grilling these folks. One of my favorite things about Legacies was the like weird offbeat episodes that you guys got to do. Originals was a very sort of dark, mysterious tragedy, and then like I'll pop on Legacies and you guys will have like Star Wars. And I was so jealous of the writer's room because I felt like they could probably just throw any wild, wacky idea out there. So I'll start with you, Leo. I want to know what your favorite like format-breaking episode was of the series.
Yeah, for me it was the there was a therapy box episode where it kind of was an 80s slasher horror movie type thing, and each scene was like this dream sequence with hope, and I was just like the generic jock in the woods. Collar popped and like I did like, I don't know, whatever, but I got put in a body bag and like slammed against a tree and like fake killed. It was pretty fun actually. It was like,
Again, I don't feel like you had to be in the body bag.
I am
Shoot that.
it's so funny now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Who is the sadistic guy behind this show?
But yeah, no, there's a lot of cool aspects. Like it was really fun on the show getting to do these one-off things because it's refreshing, it's fun. Like we're actors and it's fun to like play in these sort of bigger, broader circumstances. I mean, the show's, you know, it's supernatural. It is itself a broad circumstance, but some of these were cool opportunities to get to play and have fun.
Whole different genre.
Yeah, totally different. You get to kind of like, I don't know, play. It's very meta. You get to play within the play itself. So I enjoyed that.
What a thespian moment. Play within the play. What about the rest of you? Any favorites?
I loved my brief stint also in the therapy box for Lizzie's Wild West episode, where I appear at the very beginning, near unrecognized. My
Watch
mom
just
did-
one episode of Yellowstone.
Exactly.
I was totally joking. I'm sorry. I apologize.
But getting
It's my culture.
getting a full, like I had like a goatee, like sideburns, a big old mustache, wearing, you know, tiny period accurate glasses. They lengthened my hair. I love that. I love just walking around the set that day. People not knowing who I am, like crew members, and I carried my hat like,
Got a little bit of a new swag.
ma'am. Yeah,
Walking into the places belt first.
And people kept saying, they were like, you should grow your mustache out like that. And I'm like, I would if I could. This is it. Sorry. Yeah, that was a lot of fun getting to play cowboy for a little bit. So Yellowstone, if you're casting.
They always are. They have like 97 spin-offs. What about the rest of you guys?
Taylor Sheridan is out there.
Hello?
If you're there. Well, yeah, I was gonna say the Western episode, even though I didn't do any of the Western stuff. I was like, I'm fanning for the Western. And then, but the Grey's Anatomy episode was really fun. That was the only therapy box one I got
That was
to
a
do.
good one. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
I mean, I put on the EMT outfit, and I was like, I believe this.
Do you remember there was a bit in that episode where it was Quincy and me and was it Lizzie coming out of the closet like really quickly, and we were like, that's a little bit of a subtle reference there.
Very Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I fought on Roswell. I fought long and hard to get a threesome on the CW.
Yeah, it was a little like the threesome.
It was an adventure. Courtney, I have another question about shooting kind of out of the box things, but I didn't want to let you guys go. Nick, you too. Over the pandemic, I feel like the whole entertainment industry changed, and what we had to do, what we were like consuming as fans changed. You guys shot a Snapchat movie? Snapchat movie?
Yeah.
Dead of Night?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about what that was like on your phones?
Who has
phones?
I mean, Nick.
I do my research.
Nick makes this joke. I go, hey, it's Dead of Night meets Legacies, and he once said to me, "What's Dead of Night?" I don't know, but I had a great time because it was running from zombies, and season 2 of that was shot in Eatonton, Georgia, which was an adventure in and of itself. I mean, my first time in Georgia, and then I hadn't booked Legacies. So I shot season 2 Dead of Night, and then 2 months later, I was back in Georgia on Legacies. And the only thing I remember, no, it's not the only thing, but one of the few things I remember were the COVID tests, because that's back when they thought the COVID test had to go way up your nose, and they were very painful.
The brain swabs.
The brain swabs.
Brain tickle.
Yeah, as the pandemic went on, because I don't know if you all know, but shooting during COVID, we would have to test almost every other day in the beginning, and then it went down to twice a week, once a week, all that stuff. So, and then they got shallower and shallower, but that was back when it was intense.
I'd like to put to rest the nasal pharyngeal tests. Like, never again. Let's just put those in a box.
There's gotta be a better
Didn't need to
way.
be that.
There's gotta be a better way.
Everybody was crying after.
Oh man. Okay, so I will turn it over to you guys. Let's come down, like one person from each side. Come on down.
Love your hair.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can I video this?
Absolutely.
I give you permission.
No paparazzi.
Okay, my name's Katrin, and my question is for all of y'all. What was y'all's dream job before y'all was an actor?
Ooh, that's a good one.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a paleontologist. As I think like most kids did. I'm like, you can dig dinosaur bones? And then after that...
Seems like a lot of manual labor.
Yeah, that's what got me out of it. That's what broke that dream. I dug one hole. I was like, I'm good. And then after that, chef. I wanted to be a chef. And I still love cooking and want to own a food truck.
I would watch your cooking show.
Oh yeah?
100%.
That's dream acting job, hosting a cooking show. I would love that. Oh, Tyler Sheridan, if you're out there.
Yeah.
Cowboy cooking show. Elijah B. Moore.
I wanted to be a psychiatrist, but working in psych wards with severely mentally ill.
It got a woohoo.
That's it? Is that we got medical doctors
Like,
in
I'll
there?
see you there.
I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there.
I feel like that's a very noble endeavor.
Yeah, and then I got hit by the acting bug and threw that out the
hit by
window.
hard and decided to become an actor.
Being an actor is kind of like working in a psych
That's
ward.
what I say. Yeah, except I'm the one going.
Anybody else?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a professional tennis player, and yeah, that didn't turn out so good. So I'm an actor.
How's your elbow?
Still attached. Yeah.
maybe you're lucky to be.
I always wanted to be a veterinarian, and I still. Yeah, and I still.
That's why he's just staring at the dog that's in the middle of.
No, I still daydream about that, and I always even. I don't know. I always went, oh well, we're actors. Every job, we always pretend it's the last one. We go, oh, never gonna work again, and then it happens, right? But in between, I always still go, I could go to school, I could do that, just because I've always had a passion for that. I like animals, but I also am just fascinated with science of it, and I still think about it.
I'm like, is this gonna get woos? No, I wanted to be. I was such a gamer growing up. And yeah, I wanted to be a video game designer, and I dreamt about making this video game called Taquito Boy, and I used to love frozen taquitos, and I'd make them in my microwave. Yeah, I guess used to, yeah. Yeah, I would.
They'd split in the microwave, you'd cook them, and they'd split right down the middle.
Yeah, maybe
This is so specific.
But yeah, so that was. I used to draw them all the time, Taquito Boy, and that was going to be my first video game. But
Wait. What would happen in the video game, though?
I don't even know, man. He was like a superhero, but yeah,
He's running from the
He tries
sauces.
not to drown in the guac. It's just like,
He's running from the guac that wants to drown.
this is the new iPhone video.
Trying
Oh my
to not
God.
get eaten.
But
I would love to hear your question.
Thank you so much.
Avoiding the
Thank
microwave.
you so much.
Hi, my name is Antonia, and I just wanted to thank the cast and the writers for just the representation of the queer community. I think you did an excellent job of that, and I wanted to specifically ask Courtney, how was that for you, just getting into that role and then all of a sudden having such a huge response from that? What was that like? How did you prepare?
It's a light question.
Sorry, I just, as someone in it, I just really appreciate it a lot. I think you guys did it pretty flawlessly. There's so much representation in it. It wasn't all about it, It was just natural, so I just wanted to see how you did that.
aside from an honor, I just love the direction we're going as far as representation, as far as normalizing just things that are outside of the boxes that have been built, throughout the past 100 years from our puritanical upbringings. Well, my favorite thing that this show and this franchise has done is that the queer rep is just there. It's not particularly spelled out. It's just there. It's just existing. It's never commented on. It's just oh, you're you, and we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate you, and you are who you are, and that's my favorite thing about TVD. And what the writers have.
I didn't write on Legacies, but I'll say that the evolution of how it was represented in the show was really so wonderful to watch, because when we were on the originals, the first queer kiss on the originals was Josh and Aiden. And when we wrote it in the script, we had turned in the script to the network, and all the writers were off in our offices, and we get this email from the network that says, can you make sure that you really cover this kiss well in the wide shot? Which, if you guys don't know, means from far away, not up close. And every writer on the originals ran out of our offices. We met in the middle. We were like, what is this email? What's happening? We're so upset because, in the Vampire Diaries, they were doing scenes where Elena was tearing her nails down Damon's back in bed, and there was blood everywhere, and it was and we have a consensual kiss between two men. They're standing by a record player, they kiss a little, and then they go back to plotting their day out. It wasn't even they stumbled to bed or anything, and they wanted us to shoot it from far away. And Julie Platt came in, and she said, okay, everybody calm down, and she replied to the email, and she wrote, respectfully, why? And then they wrote back, and they said, oh, just legal, we don't want to alienate parts of the country. We might need to do some different edits and make sure we have the scene cut from far away. And Julie wrote back, respectfully, no. And then when we went to shoot that scene, we did like a full close-up and then like a like pull-up, like we could not have been closer to their mouths.
They put a camera inside Aiden's mouth.
Yeah. And to go from that kind of having to fight a battle to you guys just, you know, it would be like, somebody would be like, on Legacy, somebody would be like, I like a girl, and somebody would be like, I hate you for that, because I like her too. And it was just so great. It was like, yeah, that's how it should be. And I hope that we see more progress in that direction. Thank you so much for your question. Hi.
My question is actually for Leo. I was wondering, like, the difference between working on, like, a Disney set and, like, growing up there, and, like, how it has, like, changed to work on, like, something like the CW, like, the difference between them.
Yeah.
Less orgies at Disney, I feel like.
You'd be surprised.
Did I interrupt?
There's a lot of orgies in Disney, actually. I would argue probably more. No.
It comes.
Yeah,
having
you know
that
what?
green
So,
room.
just logistically, the format of the two shows, like most of the Disney shows that you see are multicams, where we have 4 cameras and there's like 3 walls, and that's called the proscenium, and you play out. So any kind of sitcom typically is a multicam, whereas a show like all of these that you're all familiar with, it's a single cam format. So that alone is a completely different shooting style, completely different schedule. You know, on these shows we shoot 5 to 6 days a week, you know, 12 hours a day, sometimes more. Whereas on a multicam, you only shoot 2 days a week, but you rehearse 3 other days, and it's a pretty amazing schedule. So in terms of that, it was very different, but also, yeah, that's the main difference. I mean, I've done sitcoms and I've done single cam as well, and they each have their own quirks and whatnot, but both have their own sort of fandoms in a different way, right? But I would say that this fandom is absolutely much more, yes, you guys are into it and we appreciate it, and it's really cool because we just shoot in a soundstage all day long. I mean, it's bizarre, you guys don't think about it, but there's this big dark stage and we're playing make-believe, and then you come out and people watch it, and it's cool. It's a weird experience. So, but yeah, those are the main differences, but thank you for your question. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? You guys sound pretty funny up here, so what kind of pranks did you guys do against each other?
Luke, you're the prankster, aren't you?
No.
Pranks, I don't know if, I never was a victim or an offender of any kind of prank. So I don't know if I can comment on that.
Yeah.
We're all good.
There was like, sorry, you're good, Courtney.
We were good children. Unless you weren't.
There was, no, I was not a part or privy to any pranks. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if we were shooting now, there maybe would be more hijinks going on. But like, to be honest, like I didn't even know these people that well when we were shooting the show. I
never met you.
Yeah, like we had, you know.
Well, I guess we had
one scene together where I was in monster, gear and stuff. But yeah, so that's probably why there was less of that going on.
Also, there is a funky thing where like pranks and all that, it's fun. We're in this sound stage for 8-9 months, so there is a degree of comedy and chipping it up that like is necessary to keep sanity. However, out of hand, it ends up being really negatively impacting on the actual product, right? You're taking up time, so there is a hot balance between...
Boo!
But there is.
Okay, Dad.
I think that, we get that question a lot, and it always feels like such a bummer to be like, oh, we aren't that many
We're
pranks, but
actually
like,
really professional.
we're working really hard, and every single minute counts.
It does.
And, every time you're sort of messing around, you could be taking time away from like a crew member who just needs to get home to their kid that night. So it's, it is like lighthearted. Everybody's having fun together. It's not like we're sitting around like mad at each other, but pranks, you're really there to do a job, so it's kind of hard. Though I will say, I can't remember if Joseph Morgan hit Daniel Gillies' car with his, or the opposite way, but that was a prank gone wrong on the originals, and there were no more pranks.
Yeah.
There was one that I was trying to pull off since whenever Dark Josie showed up. And I would talk to the costume department and say, can you please make a Dark Josie costume in my size? So I can show up to set like early for, you know, not when they
Like on the
actually
mark,
need
ready
me.
to go.
Exactly, in full Dark Josie costume. But the only other that I remember wasn't a prank pull that I pulled but pulled on me was during the Cupid episode when we're fighting in the bar and, you know, Hope comes in, shinks the Cupid, he falls behind the bar. And then I think it was Chris and Arya, Caleb and Landon go up to the bar and look at the other side and uh-oh, Cupid's gone. And there was one take where you can't see behind the bar, but we can obviously because we're standing there. And you know, Cupid was wearing this like tiny gold skirt. And so, you know, we're going like, guys, come look at this. And we walk over to the bar and the actor playing Cupid pulled his skirt up. He had underwear on, but he was just posed like.
And you're trying to keep a straight face
yeah,
and cameras on you.
Exactly, that's like the last shot of the scene, so we have to be like, and we could not. We maybe lasted a second until we all lost it.
Any scene with Chris Lee is just a comedy fest.
Question?
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah, thanks, man.
Hi, I'm Carina, and I was wondering, what would you say your biggest challenge in the role is and why?
Good question. Steal that one for later.
Well, not knowing that I was like immortal before I was immortal was kind of hard. Like, or I was like, I remember they told me that I was made of mud at one point, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then, yeah, pretending like I'd been knowing that the whole time. But yeah, it's always hard to imagine yourself being made of mud, I think.
Yeah, I think, I can't imagine. That must have been difficult.
It was so hard, man.
I'm sorry.
Just wanted good mud representation. You know?
I followed on the show like a sort of a long line of like human sort of football players that entered the supernatural world. So
Listen, I love Matt Donovan.
yeah, Matt Donovan.
There's no Matt Donovan shade here.
Everyone would be like, "Hey, so welcome to set." Like, "Oh, you're the Matt Donovan." It's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And so, trying to make that unique, and then also, writers like you guys you have a plan in store, right? And then as the person brings some light to the character, that plan can change. So it's also like as an actor, like trying to get an idea of what could happen so you play accordingly. So that also can be tricky because we don't typically know storylines unless it's pertinent to the scene that we're doing, right? Yeah,
We don't know
exactly.
either.
That was a kind way of saying that we're all just, you know, we kind of figured out, right? So I would say that can be difficult too, is just trying to play the nuances while not knowing what's going to happen, right?
Mine's much more just me not being as great an actor as some other folks. I couldn't keep a straight face, especially when I needed to deliver a dramatic scene-ending line or someone else needed to.
And Cupid was flashing you.
And Cupid is flashing me. But it was the episode when Hope turned into the Burbalang, or the Hopelang, and
For people who haven't watched the show, like this would feel like we were losing our minds. The burbling, you know.
Yeah, the Burbalang episode, and then we fought Cupid, and then Santa Claus came.
Cupid flashed us.
But at the end of the episode is when I realized that something's wrong with Landon, and that was my line, where I pull Hope aside, and you know, I explain like, no, he did this and he stabbed you. Landon would never do that. And then we look off to him, and I have to go, something's wrong with Landon.
You did a good job just now.
I did. Oh yeah, of course now.
Only you could do that on
that. You really sold me. I chilled.
I've been practicing that every day since we filmed it. But especially because we do like the wides, and I'm standing with Danielle, and I need to keep this straight face because that's, you know, the last shot, and the camera zooms out or zooms in. And so I go, there's something wrong with Landon. And Arya's walking by to set up D&D, and as Landon, he just goes, and I'm like, how can I try to be like, there's something wrong with him. He's like, hey guys. So that just trying to be serious during serious scenes was a big struggle of mine.
No, you go.
For me, it wasn't so much the character itself. It was how to deliver and get in and out of character in like the pace of television, because this was my first job like this, being on a set like this, and I'm still working on that. Like, when do I warm up? Before or after the 2 hours of hair and makeup? When,
It's a lot of hurry up and wait. Like,
Yeah.
you gear yourself up
Yeah.
for like something really emotional, and then they're like, we're gonna switch scenes, and you got 3 hours, and you're like, but I'm crying.
Yeah, so it's really just how to manage, like, be at full mast, be at half mast. It's really how and when to deliver it versus the character itself.
I was just going to say that my final day of filming, when things didn't go so well for Ken and he got blown up, the makeup, which was absolutely amazing, took about 7 hours to apply. This prosthetic makeup on my face and on my body, because the costume had changed as well, and I was...
That's why they needed to cast your face.
There you go.
Okay,
we got
there.
there.
Found it.
Yeah,
Full circle.
they didn't hate me. So anyway, my final day of filming was in this makeup, which looked amazing, but it was so uncomfortable. I had glue and blood all up in my beard. My hair was glued down. I had like fake blood all over me. I was sticky. I was hot. I was sweating underneath the latex. I could feel beads of sweat going down my face. It was a hot day in Atlanta. Luckily, I had to be grumpy in character, and there was no acting required. So they just say action, and I was just yelling at people. It was great. But it was a big challenge for me because I had to, in between takes, I couldn't sit down properly. I was just like leaning against something like this because I was like bleeding everywhere. So, so I had to go to my happy place, which, was very difficult.
I have to say that day was, he was amazing. He was so professional, because there was this one scene that took, all day to shoot, and he had to scream the entire scene, and every take you put 100% into the scream, and it was amazing all day.
Like I said, it was
very
easy for me to access anger at that moment, again and again and again and again.
And it's not just once; it's all day. Then you go to lunch, you spend an hour at lunch, then you come back and you scream some more. He was amazing. It was really professional.
Pure anguish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Me too.
You got help
I
coming in.
feel ya.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi there.
My question is, do you think Clark and Hope should have ended up together?
Apparently they do.
I want you to know, when you answer this question, you will divide the audience.
You will make it.
Choose wisely.
I'm not sure who you're asking, but maybe you guys have.
Nope, that's all you, Nick. That's all you, Nick.
No, it's fine. Look, I know how some people feel about this, okay? But as our relationship developed and stuff, I think for Danielle and I, it felt like just a really wonderful friendship was developing between the two of them.
Lame.
And but with every friendship, I'm like, no, I don't know.
I always say that you should marry your best friend.
I mean, look, if things had gone on, it's hard for me to answer. Clark's thousands of years old.
It's a yes or no
old,
question.
And Hope isn't. And so there's that.
Maybe in a couple thousand years they would have found each other again.
I mean,
You should be a politician.
yeah.
Very
But
diplomatic answer.
I love the Hilaric shippers, and I hear you and I see you, and we can all still be friends. It's all good. And I will admit, one night I did read some fanfic, and it was steamy.
Was it spicy?
And that's real, and I really did do that. I don't know what came off me. I don't remember where I was. It was like 4 in the morning, and I was like, "What is this?" And I started reading it, and I was like, "You know what? That was pretty good, actually." Yeah, so yeah. Anyway.
You know, I think we know his true opinion now.
I hope you got the answer.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
That was rad.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
My name's Val, and my question is, what's your favorite scene you shot and why?
Any scene that I didn't have to do with Leo.
Fair
I
enough.
second that.
But why?
Because I hate him.
He
I'm just
look-
kidding.
He
I'm just
looks
kidding.
great.
Hateable.
The smell, you can't
It's
take
the
a picture.
smell, really. Like, you're glad there's a breeze.
Yeah,
He
you're
looks
really-
like he smells
If it was
great.
outside, I would
Yeah.
want to shoot you.
Ouch.
We love you. We can only
I'm just kidding. He smells like daisies.
no. We can only say that because you're the best of us.
That's
That's
true.
what-
If you actually smell bad and we said that on stage, I couldn't live with myself.
So back to the question.
What was the question?
I don't even know what to do. I feel like I'm supposed to control things up here. I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Uncontrollable.
What's our least favorite quality about Leo, right? That's
Yeah.
what I heard.
We asked.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I think my favorite scene was the end of season 3. Malivore was in my body, and I was playing the villain, and I was fighting MG in the hallways, and I just enjoying being physical and doing the fight scenes, stuff like that. So that was really fun, and getting to play the villain while I was trying to stab him was really fun. I enjoyed that. I see why I'm hateable.
What comes to mind
Thank you
is
for wrangling that.
I think the scene where I forget what season or when it happens, but yeah, it's like when I'm full on kill hope mode, and when I smear my face and uncover the mud. Like I love that look, and it was so fun to just be like really staring her down. And I forget there's some line I say where I'm like, I don't know, I was so pouty about it, and I just loved it. Yeah, it was a really fun scene.
I liked you and Trudy. I enjoyed those scenes.
The scenes with Trudy are
Any favorites?
My actual it's the fairy scene when I get the wings for the first time. I mean, that was so cool. Getting to that whole and you know what it represents. That even though people were chanting Wade's name, that didn't matter. He just needed Landon to believe in him. And the wings were just awesome to wear. I loved them. I was really upset that they didn't make an appearance again.
Any favorites, Courtney, Luke?
The few times I got to do actual werewolfing, which were really just me going and then they would make my eyes yellow. But it was still fun to growl and stuff. Like I got to growl and scream at Zane.
It must be really cathartic to just be like your animal comes out
Although
all day.
in the scene I'm talking about, he's a god, but I'm still worried for him in case he's around, in case I turn into a werewolf. Like he can handle werewolves. He can handle anything else. Go away. That was all.
I don't know. I had fun with most of my scenes. I mean, I was playing a god, so every day was fun. But there was the one scene where there's a sequence where Omino's character Cleo enters my dreams, and then I set a trap and I trick her, and then there's a scene where I'm threatening to kill Chris's character in front of her eyes. And that scene was just super intense, and both of them absolutely crushed that scene. But it was such a pleasure to be a part of, and be in that scene, but also watch the outcome of that scene, because it was just really powerful.
Thank you for your question.
Hi, I'm Alexis. It's so nice to meet you all. My question is, were you all satisfied with the way your characters ended and their storyline? Or was there a storyline that you kind of wish your characters had explored, or that was explored further?
I was pretty happy with my character's ending. I mean, obviously I wanted to live, but I thought it was a pretty cool ending, and I enjoyed doing it.
You had a beautiful funeral, though.
Oh yeah, they were sending me pictures of the, the funeral.
I took a picture next to the picture of his face saying, you know, Ethan, 20 whatever to 20 whatever. I said, hey, at your funeral, bud.
I was driving cross country when I got the text. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was happy with how I ended. I mean, I'm still at the school. I was still, you know, in the when you're kind of in the background of a scene, which I more or less was for that final scene when Candace came back and Caroline was the new headmaster. I saw myself as being like an administrative assistant, and I'm like, for the school, and I can see, I was like, that seems right for Wade. Like, you know, he's not a student anymore. He's starting to, you know, help out at the school, and I like
Everybody's dream, administrative assisting at the supernatural school where you'll almost certainly get murdered.
That was Wade's dream.
I thought Finch had a quite beautiful ending. I mean, you can't really be alpha werewolf. And I particularly loved how she became the alpha werewolf, that like leadership was more thrust upon her, and I loved that she was never grabbing at the spotlight. She was always just, I want to serve, I'm over here, and she was like, don't look at me. But yeah, because that's my favorite kind of leader too.
I think when I read the script and realized that Ken was gonna die, I was a little surprised and disappointed because he's a god and he'd just been introduced like 5 episodes earlier, and I was like, come on, really? No.
You thought he was getting a spin-off.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
But then, you know, actually playing it out, you know, it's very satisfying. You know, I think he got what he deserved. It was super dramatic. He got speared through the heart. Great.
And yeah, no, I would have loved to see more of what was going to happen with Clark. I mean, probably not with Trudy, but also it's like, it was sad because the last scene we have of him and Hope is like, she's no humanity Hope, and he's like pleading so desperately for her to wake up. I mean, like, this, you're not acting like yourself, and it's it would have been nice to like see them come back together and both be their normal selves. But
Is that what happened in the fan fiction?
a whole lot more than that, yeah.
Did they come back together, Nick?
But yeah, thank you for the
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Flora. I just wanted to say you guys all look great today, every single one of you.
You too.
And I wanted to thank you. I wanted to ask about the monsters on Legacies, and if you guys had any favorites, or like if you guys, I don't necessarily know how that works with the monsters and shooting, and if it's all just makeup or what, but like how was that for you guys?
A lot of them were practical, like, which means that they built these costumes, and maybe they were a little enhanced with CGI, but it was most all practical on the day. For me, it was the puckwudgie, because
excuse me?
They told me the puckwudgie. It was like the
There are kids here, Leo.
How he got his powers, right?
Yeah, it was how.
Come on, watch the show.
Yeah, it was like this kind of like supernatural, very large hedgehog. I don't know, I thought it was cool. I liked it.
I love the clown, because clowns are terrifying. And the night we were filming, when we encounter the clown, myself, Quincy, Chris, and Danielle, we were shooting that, and I have video. I might post this later. We'll see. Again, another wide shot where it's me, Chris, and Quincy facing Hope. Hope's facing us, and I make some joke where I'm like, no, we're just waiting on a clown or something. She's like, oh, really? Because I'm looking at 3 clowns. And I say, I just see 1. And he pops up behind her and bites her. But while we were shooting the scene, you know, we're looking this way, and Hope's standing there. And in the background, you just see the clown from our perspective, and I'm so glad the camera wasn't on me. Poor Danielle didn't have good word to act opposite of, because I couldn't keep it straight. And yeah, that just cracked me up. I love the clown.
My favorite thing, by the way, is the empty water bottle, like squeezed between his other finger.
Stay hydrated.
I thought it was so cool how many of the monsters you guys had done practically. I know you had like a whole monster team. There's a guy named Trevor Stott Juarez that was a sound. He was the guy who held the boom on the Vampire Diaries. And then by the time Legacies was over, he was like directing episodes and like creating these monsters in the coolest way. And to me, that's like, you know, we talk about so much how the actors grew up, how I grew up over the course of like, all the writers over the course of these seasons, but like the crew got a chance to really evolve and find out what they love to do, and those monsters were so creative. It was so cool. So yeah, it wasn't just like CGI. Those things were being built in the back.
Nick Fink was the real monster on set.
We have a special guest that wants to. Are we ready now? No? A special guest that would like to come up on stage and.
Somebody's wife.
Oh my God.
The most beautiful couple in the world.
It is Luke's birthday coming up.
Can you all sing with me?
Yeah!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mitchell. Happy birthday to you.
That was beautiful.
They are so beautiful.
I'm gonna die alone.
Love them.
It's disgusting.
Makes me happy.
His hair's almost better than mine
Happy
now.
birthday, happy birthday. I love a special guest starring appearance.
And they got you cupcakes and a happy birthday sausage dog. I mean, what more could you want? Look, it sings. I mean, that's what we're going to do on the plane for 24 hours on our way home, right? Just play the sausage dog song. Everyone's going to love it. The plane is going to love you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for visiting.
My pleasure.
Anybody have any questions for Rebecca while we're up here? Yeah?
It's not really.
Let's ask the question. We'll do one more in celebration of Luke's birthday.
How was it for you to kill your wife's character off for her ending her verse in it?
Can you cover your ears for a second? It was really fun. To play make-believe. No, it was weird. It was really weird and super dramatic and yeah, I don't know. How was it for you?
It's like revenge for all the times I'm late, and by proxy he's then late, which he hates.
And by all the times, she means every time. Every time she's like,
Yes, yes. So it was a nice like release for you, right? Like, oh, stop being late. But like in your defense, it was a sneak attack death, really. You were going for hope, and I just snuck in there. So it was an accident.
yeah, actually, it was your fault. You killed yourself, really. I didn't want to kill you. And the close-up of my eyes said that.
Listen, I really just think you guys should use I statements while talking about how
This is a classic criticism and defensive-ness. You guys are seeing it
Welcome
take
to
place.
couples therapy.
We gotta mirror, empathize, and validate.
Thank you, thank you. It really made me feel sad when you stabbed me in the heart.
Perfect.
From my perspective, when you did that, it made me feel sad.
That's accusatory.
And I was surprised and shocked at your actions. And I was also a little bit sad.
Okay, so I think we found some common ground. We were both sad. So that's good.
And scene. That was amazing. Thank you guys all so much for being a great audience and having great questions and helping us sing